Hey there, students. I wanted to make a video to show how to find a requested required sample size, like in a Chapter 7 problem. So I'm looking at a problem here, looks like number 29 from the homework set. And it says an IQ test is designed so that the mean is 100 and the standard deviation is 14 for the population of normal adults. Find the sample size necessary to estimate the mean IQ score of statistics students such that it can be said with 90% confidence that the sample mean is within 2 IQ points of the true mean. It says assume that the sigma value is 14 and determine the required sample size using technology. Then determine if this is a reasonable sample size for a real-world calculation. So to summarize this problem, the goal of the problem is to determine a required sample size, and that's what the question asks for, rounded to the nearest whole number, to the nearest integer. And we are looking to find a mean value. So this is a mean value distribution, and we are assuming that we know sigma, which is the population standard deviation. So we can do this in StatCrunch. So I'm going to go to question help and go StatCrunch, so I can open up StatCrunch to help me do this problem. So here's StatCrunch. So I have to figure out which thing to do. It's in the Stat tab, and then I have some choices: Z-stats, T-stats, proportion stats, variance stats. So we're looking for a calculation about the mean. And we are told that we can assume sigma, which is the population standard deviation, is known. We can assume that that's 14. So when you know the standard deviation of the population and you're trying to do a sample about the mean, that's a Z distribution. If we didn't know sigma, it would be a T distribution. I have a Z-stat calculation and I have a T-stat calculation. So if we know that sigma is 14, we would choose to do a Z-stat calculation. One sample. And then I have choices with one sample if it's a data with a summary, and then two that talk about the sample size. And so we want to use the with sample size calculator. And this little box comes up here. Let's see if I can make this larger. So in this calculator for a Z confidence interval for a mean, there are 4 fields or 4 boxes that we don't know. Confidence level, standard deviation, that would be for the population, the width of our confidence interval, and the sample size. We want to figure out the sample size, so we have to put in the other 3. So going back into the problem, it says we want a 90% confidence interval, so the default is 95. I'm going to change that to 90%. We're told we can assume that sigma is the population standard deviation is 14, so instead of 1, I'm going to put in a 14. Now we need to figure out the width of our confidence interval, which means the range of values. So it says that we want the sample mean to be within 2 IQ points of the true mean. To be within 2 points, it means you could be 2 points below or 2 points above. That means there's a range from the middle of 2 points in either direction, so the width of the confidence interval would be twice that, or 4 points. So I would put in 4 here. So I can enter these 3 things from the problem. Confidence interval of 90%, sigma value, standard deviation of 14, and to be within 2 points in either direction, I need an overall width of 4 to guarantee I'm within 2 points one way or the other. And then I hit compute. And it does that for me, calculates it. So it says to do that, to be within 4, even though it went a smidge under, you need a sample size of 133. So I take that sample size of 133, I'm going to copy it. I go back to the original problem. The required sample size is 133. And I can check my answer, and it's happy. So I just wanted to have that quick demonstration of how to get a required sample size using StatCrunch in order to work on your homework. Keep up the hard work, and best of luck. Reach out to me if you need any help with it.